Today on Maeder and Friends Radio, we are going to be discussing something that is really thought provoking and something that you need to sit down and reflect and think about for yourselves. Because I never thought of it this way until this happened. So let's get into it.
All right. Just full disclaimer, typically we would discuss beforehand what the topic is going to be about. But this time I don't have any idea what the topic is about. So it's going to be very interesting to see me articulate my thoughts when I'm put on the spot like this. So come on, man, lay it on me.
The first question I want to ask you is, are you happy? Are you happy where you are? Are you happy where you're going? And then also, when will you be happy otherwise?
That's a very deep discussion to have. People will have different perspectives. It's gonna be such a nuanced discussion to have when trying to figure that out.
A lot of people will answer that they aren't happy because they want to achieve somewhere else where they're not in their life. So they want a new car because they think it'll make them happy once they get it. They want a bigger house. They want a new job. They want a better job. We as humans, we're always chasing something with the thought of it making us happy. And thinking about this over the weekend, it's actually a negative thing. Because once, look back when you got something that thought would make you happy. How long did that last? And were you looking for something else after that? Because there'll be people at the lower income class which will answer this question and say they'll be happy when they have their next meal, or they'll be happy when they get out of debt. And that's sad to hear. And then you'll have people in the middle class that will say they'll be happy when they have a promotion. They'll be happy when they have the bigger house, the bigger car. They'll be happy when they go to this restaurant to eat. And then you'll have people in the upper class, earning really high amounts of incomes like CEOs and that. And they'll be happy when they have free time. They'll be happy when they finally have a day off. They'll be happy to have some peace and quiet. They'll be happy when they don't have to look at their phone and emails because it's constantly ringing. Now look backwards to all of those and think of where you are and how much you actually have where you are. So why not be happy now?
Yeah, I'd actually agree. I believe that majority of people in the world are not happy. And it's really sad because, like you said, there are different demographics and different backgrounded people that want different things. And at the end of the day, I feel like we're just kind of rooting our happiness with physical and marital achievements, right? We want to accomplish a specific goal, we want to obtain a specific thing, and that in itself is going to link us to our happiness, or we believe that it's going to link us to our actual happiness. And while momentarily it can provide you with joy, I think that to the vast majority of people, once you obtain or accomplish something, you then move on to the next thing. And don't get me wrong, it's good to have that kind of mentality of always pursuing something, right? Like, trying to accomplish something or a goal or something like that. It's good to have goals in life, and it's good to have a purpose that you're living for. But it kind of takes me back to a song. I don't know if you've ever heard of AJR. It's a band. And they had a song called Maybe Man. And this song made me quite emotional. It's not by any means of the sound or specifically the tone of the song that makes me sad. It's the lyrics of the song, and it's the very idea of the song itself. So the song is filled with lines from different perspectives where you have people in these different situations that want something, but then they want that something, but then immediately the lead singer, he challenges that desire with a caveat to that desire. So off the top of my head, there's the one line where the guy wishes that they could act on a show on TV, because you know what? I'll try to say the line exactly for what it is. I wish I could act in a show on TV, because then I could practice not being me. I'll practice my cry, put it into my reel, but you won't believe me when I cry for real. The song is filled with bars like that, where it gives the impression of this person is pursuing something that would help them, would make them feel happier, and yet the reality is with that comes a negative. So when we as people, when we ground ourselves in trying to pursue something like that, we lose track of the detractors that would come with that pursuit. And so, all this to say that I think that as people, the greatest thing that you can learn, especially from a young age, is how to be happy with what you have. Learn to be happy without relying on any external factors, because external factors won't make you happy internally, no matter what you do. And I'm saying all of this because there are going to be people that argue with the fact of them accomplishing something or obtaining something. It made them feel happier. They felt happier inside. You didn't. You think you felt happier. Trust me. I have seen things online that I've wanted so badly. I buy them. And for that brief moment, I think to myself, I got it. I got what I wanted to buy. It gave me a moment of pleasure. It gave me a moment of glee and excitement. But that fades away. It does not last. Same thing with accomplishments. You can go to university, you can graduate, you can get your degree or your diploma, whatever you want. You can get that promotion, but eventually that glee and that happiness is going to fade away. Eternal happiness, happiness with yourself, happiness with life, finding contempt, those things all depend on your internal happiness with yourself. If you can be happy without the help of external factors, that is happiness that's going to stay with you forever, because it's not built upon momentary highs. It's not happiness that is rooted in momentary highs that eventually goes away. You can only get that promotion once. And then what? Are you going to try and push for the next one? But then that's not happiness. You felt happy that you got the promotion, but then you kind of ended up in the exact same spot as you were before you got the promotion, where you were hoping for another one. And then there's another one, and another one. People need to learn to be happy without relying on these things, because happiness built out of nothing, happiness built out of the contempt with your life, out of seeing things from a broader scope, the bigger picture, learning how to be happy with yourself on the inside, that is, in my opinion, where people's happiness is really going to come from. Any meaningful happiness. I mean, I'm talking about meaningful happiness.
And for those that say they do get happy when they get their promotion or buy that item, like you mentioned, it's almost like a dopamine fix. It's a high for some time and then it drops. And then you end up looking for that next fix, the next dopamine, that next high, that next happiness. So yeah, you get that promotion. It's going to make you happy in the moment. Like, you'll celebrate. But then what, a couple months down the line, year down the line, you're going to want to have that same feeling again. So you're going to be chasing that next promotion. Now, I get we all need to work hard and achieve better for ourselves. But don't set your happiness on that, because that's where a big problem is.
It's similar to myself. I'm a gacha gamer, right? I play gacha games. And gacha is basically a mechanic in a game that causes you to have to use an in-game currency in order to pull for characters that you want or weapons or anything like that. It incorporates gambling into the game, somehow legal gambling. We did a video on that. Check it out. But I'm so already addicted to the whole mechanic, even though I dislike it so much. I think it ruins games. But I'm just so addicted to the dopamine of getting that, new thing that I chase after all the time. And yeah, a lot of people just treat their lives like that. And I think educating yourself because a lot of these things can be resolved with simply just being curious and educating yourself, which a lot of people aren't. But just educating yourself and learning more about how to be happy with yourself, I think can go a long way.
It's so easy to say, But I mean, because us as humans, again, this is majority, we always want better things. We always want different things, always want to keep moving forward. But we never think of what we actually have at the present moment and be happy that we have that. I mean, like, I'm studying. I can't wait to be finished with my studies because I get into the career I want to be. But the thing is, it's not going to make me happy when I get into that career because I've got a really nice job now. So I'm happy where I am currently. It's not the most highest paying job in the world, but I have a lot of free time. And that is something that is difficult to find. Now, a lot of people don't have that, and they'll be happy when they get that. So it's such a fine line. I think we as humans have to be very careful when it comes to ambition. And I know we spoke previously about how important ambition is for you as an individual. But I think being careful with ambition and being happy when you achieve that ambition, because ambition doesn't stop. It's what keeps us going forward and pursuing better things and becoming a greater person. But don't let yourself get happy because of your ambitions.
That's a completely fair feeling to be honest. I mean, on the topics of ambition, we did a video on that. Be sure to check it out. It's such a fine line to walk between chasing an ambition and an obsession with an ambition, right? Because a lot of people make their goals or their ambitions their entire personality. And obviously, you don't want to radicalize any sort of behavior, any sort of feeling, any sort of goal, any sort of dream. You don't want to radicalize it. It's all about finding balance, right? So, I mean, for example, I'm somebody, and I'm going to choose to be a little bit more vulnerable while I'm saying this. I'm somebody that struggled with happiness, internal happiness, for 90% of my life. I've struggled with it. It's been a constant battle for me. And that's because of a lot of different reasons, right? When you're in school, you have reasons there to be unhappy with yourself and with your surroundings. At home, you have reasons to be unhappy with your surroundings. At work, in high school, in your friends groups, we all have, even when you look in the mirror, we all have those times when we feel unhappy with our circumstances, right? Something that I've really learned to do, and this is just advice. This is not me telling you that you should do this, but rooting myself in reality and faith has done wonders for my self-happiness. Every morning, I wake up, I give thanks to God that I get to spend another day on the earth. I give thanks that my loved ones are still around. I'm grateful for things. I'm grateful, and I express that gratitude through my words, my actions, my thoughts, and my faith. And that's how I've managed to find not perfected, but internal happiness, to where I can sit down, I can look at the job I have and be pretty grateful. I'm grateful that I've got a job that puts food on the table. I'm grateful to have a lover that loves me and to be in a functional relationship for a change. I'm grateful to have parents that love me and have been there for me in different ways and in their own ways. I'm grateful for my siblings. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful to be part of the country that I'm from. And it's about finding those things. A lot of people say write down what you're grateful for, 5 things you're grateful for every single day. I don't write down those things, but I think about them. I think about the things that I have right now that makes me happy and makes me feel fulfilled. And I think about the things that I want to push, pursue, and achieve so that I can get more. But the reality is, why should you be blessed with more if you're not grateful for what you already have? And so that's my thoughts on the whole thing. I think that people need to create a foundation for themselves to be happier with what they have now and view things from the perspective of ambitions, in terms of ambitions and goals and material things. Achieving those things is a goal. Getting those things is an objective. But be happy with who you are right now. And I know there are so many people with different thoughts, but I guarantee you, human beings fundamentally are all the same. We're social creatures. We're greedy, a lot of us. take that greed to the extreme. A lot of us channel that greed into providing for our loved ones, right? There's different ways to channel it. Doesn't have to all be considered negative. Down to our core, human beings are the same. And so I guarantee you, if you took the time to just slow down, take a seat, go for a walk, look around you. Look at nature. Look at the next man. Look at your neighbor who probably might have more problems than you do. And have the generosity to yourself to think and be grateful for what you've got right now.
It's important to have your hobbies, like you mentioned, gacha for you, for example. That's fine. Everyone should have their hobbies. But this is not what you do. This is just for people in general. Be careful of labeling those hobbies as the only way to make you happy, because you're not going to be able to do those hobbies every day. And that's a fact. I mean, it's very rare that people are able to do that. That's just a small percentage. And I wake up every day and I say exactly the same thing. You know, what am I grateful for this day? And it's some self-reflection. I mean, sometimes if you can't think of much, it's fine. One is perfectly fine. Remember, you have a job. Well, not everyone, but you know, what I'm getting to is just label one is completely fine, and do that every single day. And just be careful of chasing something because you think it's going to make you happy. That's just, you know, the biggest takeaway I could say. Because if you look back, think carefully, you look back when you said exactly the same thing, where you're going to get this because it will make you happy. Where are you now? So I think just be self-aware and just think of what you currently have, and try and be content, try and be happy with what you have now. And then everything else that is going to come in the future would just be almost like an add-on or an achievement. Let's say that. Not something that will make you happy. Let's say it's an achievement to add to your happy life already.
100%, man, I agree with that. And just to end off this broadcast, I want to make a little visualization for you guys. And so just because we're saying be content does not mean that you cannot be ambitious and chase after your dreams. The two ideals don't exist exclusively from each other. But I want to paint this picture for you guys. A tree doesn't start growing from its branches that holds the fruit. It starts from the trunk, from the core, from its roots. It grows its trunk, it grows its roots, and that is when it starts to stem off and grow branches that hold fruit. Be the core to your happiness. Be the roots to your happiness. Root your happiness in the foundation of the soil that you have right now, not the soil you'll have in 10 years, or not the soil you'll have after you get the promotion, not the soil you'll have after you buy better soil. Plant your roots in the ground that you are born in. Find happiness from within.